Hey there, stampers and crafters. My name is Tami White from stampwithtami.com, and welcome to our Friday online class. Excuse me. We're going to be making this awesome card. I'm really excited about it. This is from the Stampin Up Let It Ride stamp set, which it is horse themed. And I love this stable look. I actually got this idea from the stable, at least part, from Stephanie Fisher I found on Pinterest. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. We have to make this card. So I changed it up a little bit, but I love the card. I cannot wait to show you how to make it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Since we're live, we have live prizes. So I have 3 things to give away live. One is the ever-popular pop-up scrap bin that everybody loves. This is going to be our early bird prize, which means I will draw this at the 10-minute mark. For those of you who popped on early, joined us early on in the class, left a comment, you will be entered to win all of these, but I'll be drawing that one at the 10-minute mark. I will draw the winner for these 2 Hostess stamp sets, artfully folded, at the end of this episode, and all you need to do is leave a comment to be entered into all of it. Didn't win or weren't able to catch us live? No worries. This video will stay up forever, and you will be able to enter to win this up until April 15th. I'll be giving away a Let It Ride stamp set that we're using today up until the 15th of April if you leave a comment on this video. And if you share this video and type the word share into the comments, you will be entered a second time into this after live drawing. So pretty excited about that. Welcome to all of you. I see a bunch of you are popping on now, and I'm really excited to get started. So before we jump in, we're going to give you a little information in the news section. I like to keep you updated on what's happening. And the first thing is Celebration ends on Sunday. Oh my goodness, right? Mad rush right now. Mad rush because it's almost over. It seems like we had so much time and then all of a sudden, bam, it's over. And the limited edition products are selling out. So don't wait until Sunday. If you really want something, don't wait. The ways that we celebrate, just in case you're new, if you place a $50 order in my online store, you get a free celebration product, and that is unlimited. You can place 100, you get 2, 150, you get 3, and Stampin' Rewards. And everything I'm using today is available in my online store. Speaking of Stampin' Rewards, if they accumulate, your order accumulates up to 250, you get Stampin' Rewards, and you will get a bonus $25 free on top of your regular Stampin' Rewards. But the best one, and the one that I cannot say this enough, because it costs $99 and you're going to get $175 worth of product. This ends on Sunday. It's all over after that. Then it's back to the regular. You get $125 products free. So you don't want to miss out on this. It's such a great deal, and you can do it just for the great kit deal. You can do it for the discount. If you're interested, you can contact me if you have more questions, or go to my stampwithtami.com blog and click on the Demonstrator tab. Here you also have the opportunity to upgrade that kit and get that Demonstrator tote bag that is so yummy. That's also going away on Sunday. That will no longer be available. So, while Celebration still has a couple of days left, this came in just the nick of time. The butterflies are back. The butterfly duet punch is back. And also, what's not shown here, the cake builder punch is back. So the cake bundle is back. The cake builder punch is back. The butterfly duet punch is back. You can get the bundle now with it in it. All of this is back, but I will note that cake builder punch is already showing as low inventory. So if you love those 2 things, get them now during Celebration. Get your before they go on back order again, and get them and get the free stuff with it. And the other thing I want to recommend that you get with your Celebration orders is anything you want in these retiring ink colors. These retiring ink colors, inks, papers, embellishments, all of the goodies, ink pad refills especially, stock up on those because these colors are going away. The retirement list will be announced on April 15th, and as soon as it's announced, I expect some of the items in the more popular ink colors to go. I don't expect them to be more than a couple of days, so get ahead of that. Get your stuff now. If you want more information, there's a video on my blog called What You Need to Know About the Retiring Ink Colors, and I show everything that contains them on there. So, I don't know if you guys have been on my blog, but I hope so, because I have some fun stuff happening there. I've got 3 different blog candy giveaways. if you are not sure how to find these, you go to stampwithtami.com and click the winners tab and contest. It's winners and contest. Everything's listed there. But here, all you need to do is leave a comment on my blog and you'd be entered to win. And there's 3 different places, 3 different posts, one for each of these prizes. I will be drawing them in April. They are all Celebration products, and I've couple, 2 of them are sold out Celebration products, so a chance to get those. And not that hard to get Lasting Lily set that everybody loves. And so that's what's happening. That's really what's happening in the know right now. Just want to keep you updated on all of that information. So we're going to get started on the table. We've got about a few more minutes before we take a commercial break and do our early bird drawing. All right, so let's bounce down and make this card. And again, these are our live prizes. Pop-up scrap bin, 2 artfully folded. The scrap bin is going. I'll draw that one at the 10-minute mark. If you're new to my videos, I have a free PDF on my blog, and there is a link to it in this video's description. So if you're on YouTube, I believe it's below, and if you're on Facebook, if you're on a phone, you have to scroll over to the side, or if you're on your computer, you should see it right in the description. You can click right on that, and that will bring you directly to the resource page where there's a free PDF that contains all of the measurements and all of the supplies that I'm using today. I like to make this easy for you. It also contains a URL that will bring you back to that resource page that contains the video we're making right now, so you can always go back and watch it if you're making this project later and want to see a couple of steps. And if you have a smartphone, you can zap the QR code, and that will also bring you back to the resource page to make it quick and easy for you. I like to have the tools to make life easy for you guys. You may notice this beautiful grid paper that I'm working on today. I pulled it out I've been hoarding this. As demonstrators, we're able to get some of this beautiful floral stuff. And I bought a couple of packs of this grid paper, and I was hoarding it. And then Stampin' Up said, as of April 1st, they are going to start selling this grid paper for customers. You can purchase it. However, and here's the however on that, they only have a limited supply left, and so it'll probably sell out really fast. So if you really love it on April 1st, get on my online store and get that before it goes. Are you dying to see how to make this card? I'm going to show you a little trick here on how to make that little horsey pop out. So super fun. Here's the Let It Ride stamp set that we're using. This is also available in my online store. It came out in the Occasions catalog. So just absolutely adorable. We're also going to be using the Frosted Bouquet of all things. That is going to make our stable door, these 2 dies from that set. And then the sliding door framelits are what we're going to use, and it's these 2 little guys. You know, that sliding door, and I have some videos on this on my blog on some fun sliding door projects. Oh my gosh, I can't even pick this up. But these are what we're going to use for the hinges. They're these 2 little guys right here. So we will get into that in just a second, but before we do, we're going to do a little watercoloring. So the first thing I'm going to do is use some watercolor paper, just because I like to watercolor on watercolor paper. It's really nice. It holds the color, and it doesn't dry quite as fast as it does on Whisper White, so you're able to move some colors around a little bit and blend a little bit better. I'm also using StazOn ink. It's permanent ink, and it doesn't bleed. You can also use Memento ink to watercolor if you have Memento ink black, but you have to let it dry really, really well. And in this case, I didn't want to sit there for 5 or 10 minutes and wait for this to dry so well that I could watercolor on it. I wanted to watercolor right away, so we are using the StazOn. All right, so I'm going to stamp the little horse. And I didn't like what I stamped, so we're going to flip on the other side. I think my StazOn needs to be re-inked. That's why those re-inkers come in handy. Much better. All right, and let's go ahead and do all of our stamping at once. So I'm using wood grains, wood textures, I'm sorry. It's the wood texture designer paper. This is probably going away too. All designer papers are probably going to be retired on April 15th. So just a heads up on that too, because they sell out. But this is the wood texture. This was the only designer paper that carried over from last year. So I'm guessing it's not going to carry over again. It's double-sided 6x6. It's so fun to work with. It goes with so many projects. So I'm going to stamp the words on that, and we're just going to stamp them in the bottom and the center here. Oh, thank you guys. Lots of love for this card. I've been dying to play with these horsies. I really have. All right. So I'm just going to put that aside for now, and we're going to, well, before we start on the watercoloring, we are going to take that commercial break that I promised you guys, so we can pop over, do a quick drawing for the early bird drawing to see who is going to win this pop-up scrap bin. Everybody loves these. They're so fun to have on the crafting table. So just give me 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves. Wow. Wow. All right. We got a lot of people on there already. That is just awesome. Okay. So, I am going to draw our first winner here, and if you are the winner, congratulations. Be sure to fill out the prize claim form. Sorry. On my, there is a link to it in the video's description, or go to stampwithtami.com and click winners page, where all of the current contests are listed, and they will be there as well. All right, Bernay Bramba. Be sure to fill out that prize claim form, Bernay. You have won the pop-up scrap bin. Woot! Don't worry if you're not Bernay, because we have more prizes coming. All right, back to our regularly scheduled stamping. All right, so where we left off, we have we started our stamping here for our horse. Next up, we're going to do some watercoloring. I'm going to just move you, maybe I'll back you out a little bit. I am going to move you in a little bit here, though, because I really want you to see up close. I'm going to bring in a little bit of scrap paper just so I can test my Aqua Painter. We're using the Aqua Painter here, the brush. This is kind of neat because you can just take the tip off, put the water in it, and it's kind of like a one-stop shop for your painting needs. And we have two colors that I'm using here. One is basic gray and one is soft suede. You can also do this with the ink pads, the regular ink pads, by squeezing them and pulling the ink in the lid. But you get a more concentrated color if you go with the ink pad refill. So, and I'm actually just putting them on an acrylic block here that I normally put my stamps on, mount my stamps on. I'm just using that to hold the color. Okay. All right, so right now I am going to squeeze some of that water out here, and I'm going to back up a little bit. Okay. So, sorry, I was just doing a quick scan on the comment there, make sure I didn't miss anything important. If you have any questions, one of the beautiful things about being live is that you can ask questions. Now, I want this brush to be wet, but I don't want it to be soaking. So I squeezed some water down into it, but then I kind of took it off, took a little bit off so it's not too wet. And then I'm going to test it again before I actually put it on the paper. And for two reasons. One, because I want the color to be a little bit lighter than what I'm going to, even lighter than that. When it initially hits the paper, you know, I don't want it to be quite that concentrated. I'm actually going to just leave a little piece of his face there. I'm going to go beyond his body here too, because when we cut him out, we want him to be all in. We want him to look like he's got a body there, even though he's just a head. All right, so now I'm layering just a little bit of color on where the body would be. Get that really light. This is the beautiful thing about watercolor paper, is that you can pull this paper and pull this color, the ink, around a little bit because it doesn't dry quite so fast. Okay, so that was soft suede that we just used. Now here I've got some basic gray. Again, gonna test it. I'm doing this for his little hair, his mane. Now, if you have a really wet brush, these two will bleed together kind of where they meet. So you might, if you have a really wet brush and you put a little bit on, you might want to either dry it or just wait until it dries before you do the other color, so you don't get a lot of bleeding. And I'm layering. See how I'm layering kind of on the top here? I'm going to pull some of that layer down right here. There's one little blade of hair that goes all the way down his neck. And I'll tell you why in a minute. There's a reason for that. All right, and then another beautiful thing here, we're just cleaning this off. It is as easy as it looks. Just like it. You make it look so easy. It really is. Really, that's most of what there is. I'm not putting this away yet, though. I do need it for one more little thing later. So we're just going to move this off to the side. And if you're tuning in late and you love this beautiful floral paper that we're working on right here, it will be available to customers on April 1st in my online store while they last. So I don't think there's a ton of them. So if you love you're going to be like me, you're going to end up hoarding them. Oh, I'm not going to put the handle on the wrong side. I did that last class, and then I had to reach across, and you guys, makes it harder for you to see. Okay, so I'm going to start with the black. We're going to cut our hinges first. Let that horse dry for a second. So this is actually the layer of the card that we're going to use. There's no reason to use I put scrap on the PDF, but there really isn't a reason to use that. We can cut it out of the middle. That's not going to show here. See, save on some of that. And again, the die set that I'm using here is the sliding doors. So I'm taking these two little hinges. Whoops, come back. Make sure they're in the center, not on the edges, so that you won't see where the cut is coming from. I've got the magnetic platform down here and then two cutting pads, and then we're just going to cut that through. And then those, we'll just put this aside because that black piece we're going to put aside, and we're going to use that in just a minute. So we've got our little hinges here, and we need to, there's a couple little pieces here that just need to be poked out. There's one. My goodness, my heater is making a lot of noise. Can you hear that in the background? All right, by now our horse has had a chance to dry, so it's time to cut him. Now, here's where the secret of the horse, how we get him kind of dimensional, peeking out of the stable. See how he's actually coming out of this die? Here's the real trick to this. Don't lose it, okay? You're probably going to lose it. I know you are. All right. I decapitated him. I cut his head off. I really did. All right, so here's what I did. You know how I said to bring that, let me back you out a little bit so you can see it. With the basic gray, bring that line down there. What we're basically going to do is kind of use that to hide the line that we use when we cut off his head. Off of his head. Sounds so horrible. Really? I'm allowing me to cut off the heads of horses here, but don't worry. We're surgeons here. We're going to make it look phenomenal in the end. Don't cry. All right, so we've got his little body here. We'll just put that aside for a minute, and we are gonna cut out his little head. In fact, I'll just trim that right now. I'll cut that out in just a second. But first, we've got two more cuts to make, and that is with this Wood Textures designer paper. And since all of the sheets kind of look similar, we've got let's see, got some very well loved designer paper, so we'll just use that one, and we're going to use the larger frame that also came in that Frosted Bouquet die set. And if you're coming in late, I do have all of the products listed on the resource page. Oh, Jane, she's like, you have a heater, we have air conditioning on. Yeah, she's just rubbing that in. Sorry, it's only April here in New England. We're going to have the heat on for another, I'm going to have the heat on for another month. Some people may turn it off soon, but I'm not quite there yet. Although it is going to be a little warm, like 50. We call that warm around here, especially after a cold winter. Okay, so we've cut two. These are going to be our stable doors here out of the Wood Textures. And we are all done with the big shot. I'm just going to move that out of the way. And we're going to bring our little horsey head back in here. I feel like this is like a scene out of The Godfather. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, horsey. I promise we're going to make this all better. We're going to trim out his head with the paper snips. I'll back up a little bit. That's all close. Yeah, this is our little secret here. So I trimmed up pretty close to that outline right there. There's a little bit of hair here that I just left. I didn't bother trying to cut in there. You can if you really want to get detailed, but I really thought that would be more work than it was worth. Oh, thanks for the hearts, you guys. Love you right back. Okay, so we've got him trimmed out and ready to be mounted. But before we do that, get it? Mounted, haha, ba-dum-bum. Before we do that, remember I said I'm not putting this away just yet. And the reason why is because in this little seam here, the paper may still be a little bit white. So I took some of that basic gray and just edged inside there to get any white. Because if it shows the white, you can see the seam. And we don't want to see the seam. So that was just a little trick to keep that from showing. And then doing it on both pieces. Okay. So next up, I don't know if you guys caught that too. This is shimmer white here. So I don't know if you can see it on the video here, but it's shimmery and cool. And next up, all we have left to do is assembly of our card. And I am assembling this card with snail adhesive. The whole thing. I'm not popping it up, and I'll tell you why when we're done. There was a reason why. My original prototype was popped up. And then we scrapped that idea. All right, so just attaching these panels to the card base. And just a note, I really do like to stamp before I attach. In case you don't like what you stamped, you can flip it over and use the back side. And also I have cut a piece for the inside because this is kind of dark cardstock and it's hard to write on or stamp on the inside. You'll have a light piece in there. And you can stamp on that too. I know some people do not like naked insides. Okay. Do you use water or alcohol when cleaning your supplies? Do not use alcohol on rubber stamps, but we have Stampin' Mist Cleaner. I recommend using that if you're referring to your stamps. Okay. So just going to zoom in a little bit. So what I have here is I have both of the hinges. I'm going to line them up so they're just kind of one on top of the other. And I'm going to trim them so they're exact. This will make them exactly the same size. I'm going to trim off the ends a little bit there. Okay. So we can go ahead and attach. Go ahead and attach our horse onto this panel, and then we can go ahead and attach these panels onto the card. This would make a really nice Father's Day card. It's also a good masculine card. It's feminine too. Women like horses too. That can go either way. Okay, so sorry, it just seems so weird with a headless horse. All right, so just going to take some mini glue dots to attach our hinges. I'm sticking them right onto the glue dot. And then what I did was I just kind of, whoops, I lined it up with the edge of that white. I didn't want it to be under the white. I just lined it up with the edge because I want everything to be the same height. And so I'll just line that up with the end. So we have our hinges. And the very last step, and I am going to use my silicone mat for this. So and liquid glue probably was a better choice for this, because you really want to get the edge of the horse, the adhesive on there really good. But I don't like liquid glue, so. But get that edge really, really good. And then we're going to line that right up where it came off. Oh my guy's even going to go off the card here. And when you do that, because we did it right on that seam, He's looking down a little bit. This one's really trying to jump out of his pen. But when you do that right on the seam, you don't even see it. You don't even notice it because we've already kind of camouflaged it by where we cut it. All right, so that is all there is. Now, definitely, I think you might want to angle your die a little bit more so he's standing up, unless you want him drinking water, because he looks like he's drinking water here, or he looks like he's about to jump out. Either way, super cute, right? That is really all there was to that. I know it looks like there was a lot more, but I promised to show you why I didn't go with dimensionals on this one. And that was because, I mean, it was so easy to line it up when they were flat, to his head up when it was flat. But originally, I wanted to pop it all up on dimensionals and have it look like, you know, the door was popped out. But when we did that, you could see the seam because the head was never exactly the same height as these two, so it just didn't, it wasn't perfect. So, I mean, you can do it, but that is much more noticeable. Like, you can't, on this one, you can't even see it. It's, even looking for it, it's hard to see it. All right, so that is our little horsey card and our class for today. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And it is now time for some more giveaways. Our last giveaways are 2 artfully folded stamp sets. And we're going to pop on back over here and draw 2 more winners. The first one is Tom Bennett, and the second one is Gwen. All right. Be sure to fill out the prize claim form that is listed in this video's description, and I will get these out to you this coming week. And if you didn't win, don't worry. There's still one more awesome, whoops. That's our card. I meant to show you this one. There's still one more awesome prize coming for Prize Patrol. So that's coming. And don't forget, butterflies are back in stock, but celebration ends on Sunday. Sunday. So there's only a couple of days left. All right. Thank you for joining me today.